Hello everyone, my name is Michael Holman, and I am your psychology instructor for both Introductory Psychology, that's Psych 1101, and for Basic Psychology, that's Psych 1010. And today we're going to be going over and explaining, really, the extra credit assignments that are available right now. So, where do you find the extra credit, first of all, you might ask? Well, you go to your Lessons tab where everything else is, and then you'll see Extra Credit Opportunities. Now, under extra credit opportunities, excuse me, you'll see that all extra credit assignments are due April 27th by midnight. Submit each assignment within its folder by attaching as a document. No late assignments will be accepted under any circumstances. Now, when it comes to extra credit, the thing you need to know, first of all, is that these do not count against you. So if you do an assignment, an extra credit assignment, and you don't do very well, it's not going to hurt you at all. It can only help. All these extra points are just going to go towards your score, your total number of points score. Now let's look at the first one, data collection. Just 1 to 2 pages in APA format. It's worth 10 points. That's essentially the same as, say, one of those smaller weekly assignments that you might have skipped. This can make up for one of those, only one of them. So I am fully aware this class can be a challenge. In an effort to understand what has caused the most challenges in a few content areas, I am offering you an extra credit opportunity to let your voice be heard. Please use this time to give a constructive, analytical overview. This is not a venting opportunity, so don't just write, "This class sucks, I hated everything about it, the teacher was horrible." That's not going to help at all. You didn't actually give me anything to work with. So give a detailed explanation on the following. What was challenging or simple about the following chapters? Founders and their theories, that was chapter 1. Learning, that's classical, operant, and social learning, you should remember that. Or development, which was the moral, cognitive, and psychosocial chapters. So what was challenging or simple about each of those 3 chapters? Write that up in APA format in 1 to 2 pages and turn it in. Just attach it right here, like you've done other assignments. And that's it. Easy peasy, 10 free points. Now we move to the actual hard one, the social psychology project. So, 25 extra credit points are available for this. That means you can get a total of 35 extra points if you do everything. So what is the social psychology project? Excuse me. The purpose of this project is to give you an opportunity to examine some of the ways that normal people act in ways that seem, well, not so normal. All of us are bound by the situations to act in a particular way, even if it isn't the way we think we should act. Part of what makes this so interesting is that we often don't even realize how much we are constrained by the situation around us. This means that we are not very good at predicting what we are likely to do in a given situation. In the following project, you will have a chance to compare what people think they will do to what they actually do in a given situation. For this project, be sure that you do the following. You do not choose any behaviors that are illegal or unethical. Think about your participants' experience will be like, and be considerate of them. Keep in mind your participants are doing you a favor, and you should not take advantage of their graciousness. I ain't bailing you out of jail, so don't do something illegal, okay? That's all there is to it. Now, include a script in which you describe word for word what you say or do in your experiment. That's pretty self-explanatory. You just write down exactly what you say. Include a data table in which you compile all of your data in a readable format. This can mean an Excel sheet, excuse me, or a handwritten table, but you should include averages for each condition whenever possible. Follow the directions and answer all the questions. I have listed how much each question is worth. You will lose points for each question you skip. And then, of course, proofread your paper. Check for page order, grammatical errors, and clarity of sentences. Another note, if you're not sure that you're doing the project correctly, then email me at mholman@laniertech.edu before running your participants. I'd rather meet with you or answer questions over email than be unhappy with your paper after the deadline. And remember, this should be done in APA format, just like everything else. So the first half of this is all about violating a social norm. Much of our behavior is shaped by social norms. These norms are often unwritten and implicit, but their influence can be quite strong, as we can see by people's reactions when someone violates them. This project is designed to give you an idea of the strength of social pressure. There are 2 parts to this study. You will need 20 participants for 10 per condition in your study, and the first 10 do not need to be on campus. So it says case, but also linear tag. Don't worry about that. So what I mean is there are 2 halves to this study. In condition 1, you need 10 participants, and in condition 2, you also need another different 10 participants. So, in the first part of your study, describe Ash's experiment. You might remember him from the social psychology chapter. Do that to 10 people, and ask them what they think they would do. You should read the following description of the experiment to your participants. You may also want to draw a picture of the experiment as shown in your book to make the experiment more clear to your participants. Imagine you were sitting at a table with 7 other people, all participating in an experiment on visual judgments. The experiment worked like this. The experimenter simply showed a card on which appeared a line of some length, maybe 5 to 9 inches long. Then, all of you were shown another card with 3 lines on it. Of these 3 lines, you had to choose the one line that was the closest in length to the line of the first card. One of the 3 lines was the same length as the first card, while the other 2 lines were substantially different. The experimenter asked each person to answer out loud which line was the same length as the first card. You are the last person to answer. On the first and second trials, every person at the table got the answer correct. On the next trial, every other person at the table chose the same line, but the line they all chose was clearly not the same length as the first card. When your turn came to choose out loud between the 3 lines, what would you do? Question 1. Would you go with your answer that was obviously right, or would you go along with the group and choose an obviously wrong answer? And question 2. What if the group answered incorrectly for every one of the next 10 trials in a row? How many of these 10 trials do you think you would answer correctly, choosing a line different from the one chosen by all 7 people who answered out loud right before you? Information to include in your data table. Description of the person whose reactions you are measuring when the social norm is violated. So, is this person your friend? Are they an adult, a fellow student? Are they a coworker? Are they older than you, younger than you? What's their age? What's their race? Stuff like that. Answer for question 1. Whatever their answer was. And then whatever their answer was for question 2. And then why they thought they would or would not conform in 1 sentence. Ask them to answer in 1 sentence why they think they would or would not conform. Now, for this section, you need 10 people. And remember, you're not actually doing this experiment. You're just reading this paragraph and asking them to answer these questions. So for each of your 10 people, I am perfectly fine with you just copying and pasting this little section right here and filling in the answers for each individual person. Remember, do not give them a name. Whatever this participant's name is, you are not to tell me. I only want what is asked for in these questions. Keep it as confidential as possible. That's the point of these experiments. Now, for the next set of 10 people, this is condition 2, when you're going to give them actual pressure to conform and an actual social norm. In order to feel the pressure that existed in Ash's experiment, you are going to go against a social norm. Social norms are rules we have for acceptable behavior. You should choose an implicit social norm or rule, not an explicit law or rule, and not a behavior that might lead to personal injury. See the outlines above for why that's not okay. And think of a specific behavior that would violate that norm. Then you should violate the social norm with 3 people of various ages. You should approach each person individually and ask them to perform the behavior. Note, do not ask a group of people. The norms for groups are different. For example, you might ask random students if they will sing the Star-Spangled Banner or Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Try to ask different types of people in different situations and see how your results vary. To violate social norms, you might ask your participants to do any of these. And this is a huge list, but you can come up with whatever you want, as long as it's not illegal and doesn't get anyone hurt or, messed up in some way. Now, because this can be kind of confusing with the 3 and the 10, here's what I actually mean. I want you to get 10 participants. They are then going to violate the social norm with 3 other people that aren't part of the experiment. You're just watching what they do. This is exactly like that show, What Would You Do? Basically, you're going to get 10 people to violate a social norm, and see how other people react, 3 other people react to them, and also how they react to that. For each of the 10 people, again, you can copy and paste. Describe the persons whose reactions you are measuring when the social norm is violated. Are you measuring your own reactions when this participant, violates the social norm? Or are you measuring the person that's violating it? What are their reactions like? Are you measuring the people, the unknown adult or unknown child, that they are violating the social norm against? How well do you know the person whose reactions you are measuring? So again, the person you're describing, how well do you know them? Then write what their response was. So this is for your participant. When you asked them to violate the social norm, did they do it? How well did they do it? Did they change your request to make it more appropriate? What was their emotional response like? So ask them what their emotions are like before and after. Do they appear anxious, uncomfortable? What made the situation easier or harder for them? If they wouldn't do the behavior, why wouldn't they? And of course, write down your own emotional response to the individual and the norm violation. Were you uncomfortable when they violated the norm? Did you laugh? Did you slink away? Or were you able to go on as normal without interruption? Answer these questions for each of the 10 people. So, this moves to questions that you need to answer for the final section of this paper. Explain clearly what you did. Describe your social norm as well as your behavior that violates that norm. This is for part 2. You're describing everything that happened in part 2. What differences did you see between Ash's experiment and people's estimates of their willingness to conform? So, for the second question, write about the differences that you saw between Ash's experiment and what people believed they would do. So this is for that first group. Based on your experience, do you think people would conform or not? And this is just your opinion, based on what you've experienced for this entire paper. What sort of emotional responses did your participants have to the violation of the norm? So for part 2, what was their emotional response overall? How did you feel about asking them to violate the norm? Did you feel guilty? Did you feel uncomfortable, awkward, weird? What exactly? What differences did you see between the hypothetical prospect of conforming to the group and people actually being pressured to break social norms? Did people in your second group actually violate the norm-violating behavior? What was the hardest part for you in getting your participants to not conform to social norms? Which was stronger, participants' beliefs that they would stand up to social pressure, or people's willingness to go along with social pressure? And what individuals were the most difficult for you to approach? What individuals were the easiest? Why do you think that was? So based on your experiments, what can you say about the power of conformity to the norm? And that's just kind of a summary of everything that has gone on in this entire paper. Now, obviously, part 2 is the hardest part. You can see here, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do, and you can go and read them. But just for some more examples, we've seen people ask participants in their second group we've seen them go out and shop by taking people's stuff out of other people's buggies and recording the response. We've seen people ask participants to go and sit down and have dinner at a complete stranger's table, or to sit down at a table and eat someone's food after it's been left. That sort of thing. Just violate a norm. And then record how you feel, how your participant feels, how someone responding feels, or, well, how the entire environment played out. Just tell me how things went down. And do that for all 10 people. And those are the extra credit assignments. Hopefully that was kind of enlightening for you guys. Once you're done, again, you can just write it here and submit an attachment right there, and so on, and then submit it. And depending on how well you did the assignment, I may end up giving you whole 25 extra credit points. That's a pretty big boost. But it's worth it. You're doing an extra assignment, but you're getting extra points. So with all that said, those are your 2 extra credit opportunities. Hopefully that's enough, and that'll help you guys out to get you a satisfactory grade. In the meantime, I hope you have an enjoyable rest of your week, and good luck on your final. Remember, this is due by midnight of April 27th. That means, again, if it is 11:59 p.m. on April 27, you have 1 minute to turn your extra credit assignments in. just to make that clear. So that's it. Hopefully you guys have figured out and answered some of those common questions. If you have any more, feel free to email me, and I will happily answer those questions for you. But in the meantime, good luck.